Nuclear energy is suddenly being talked about a lot.
Nuclear energy deserves a second act. It's clean, safe, and cheap.
L'enjeu plutôt vif de la soirée a porté sur le
It's a dirty,
nucléaire.
dangerous, and expensive form of energy.
We can eliminate our dependence on foreign oil by building 45 new nuclear power plants right away.
We still don't have a safe way to dispose of the nuclear waste.
Mining for uranium, which under the best of circumstances can really screw up any nearby bodies of water in the area like the Colorado River.
Although the nuclear industry itself is phenomenally a safer industry than many.
Solve the waste problem or shut the reactors down.
It is clean, it is safe, it is abundant.
It's dirty, it's dangerous, and it's hugely expensive.
You like the Grand Canyon. Wait till you see the holes the mining companies put next to it.
There's an argument that nuclear power is clean. I grant you that. But it's only clean while it's being produced.
What they never, ever talk about is what is called the front end of that energy. And that is the nuclear fuel production.
Let us increase the use of renewable power and emissions-free nuclear power.
And they get away saying that because it's true only at the nuclear power plant itself. All of the phases before that use fossil fuels.
It's the mine, the mill where we are, the conversion facility, and the enrichment facility. There is contamination, water, air, and soil at every phase.
It takes thousands and thousands of gallons of water simply to explore for uranium.
It's also going to contaminate the water that is here that does get into the system.
And a water table can be contaminated by one test hole.
When you get to the point where you're actually excavating it, where you get to the point where you're milling it, that takes millions of gallons of water.
When they come in and do an open pit strip mine, it's going to take the water out of the system.
Paducah's enrichment facility in Kentucky uses 26 million gallons of water a day.
I think we've got to do a better job in figuring out how we're going to deal with the waste.
99.9% of what they put out their door is uranium milling waste, and a very small amount of the volume of materials that come through is actually produced out the other end as yellowcake.
Uranium's half-life is going to be about 1,000 generations. There's no way that we can protect that far into the future.
You try to do the net present value on 1,000 years worth of waste maintenance, which is the minimum required by law, but should be at least 10,000.
There's groundwater contamination that is still a very persistent problem. And we just can't have this close to people.
Even the Department of Energy and the Department of Defense have suggested that nuclear storage, safe and secure nuclear storage, isn't something we have and isn't something that they see us being able to do.
Yucca Mountain sits about 100 miles northwest of Las Vegas, but few Nevada residents feel lucky to have it.
The consulting firm that looked at Yucca Mountain in Nevada suggested that moving nuclear power across the country could lead to between 100 and 450 accidents.
How long can you do that? And is it a good idea?
For nuclear power to be a viable energy alternative, the nation has to find a way to take out its nuclear trash.
The nation's first full-scale atomic power plant to produce 60,000 kilowatts of useful electricity. It won't produce power economically competitive with coal or oil, but it is a major step in that direction, a big hope for the future.
When they say that they can deliver power for 2 cents a kilowatt hour, what they're not telling you is, you've already paid for part of that. And if we do this in the future, that cost will go up dramatically.
If you look at nuclear energy from a lemonade stand point of view, meaning how much do you have to spend, how much are you going to get back, and what are your potential liabilities, it makes 0 sense.
The real cost when we look at it is something well over 14 or 15 or 16 cents. It could be as high as 20 cents a kilowatt hour. It makes them more expensive than coal. It makes them more expensive than natural gas. By factors, it makes them more expensive than wind.
Our national government knows that working in this industry is not good. It's not healthy. It's very dangerous. And the reason that I say that is because they have what's called the National Apology, and that has been paying $150,000 to workers in the industry or their survivors who can prove that they have had exposure to uranium. It amazes me that our government would do that sort of thing, and on the other hand would then say how clean this industry is. Obviously, one side of our federal government is not talking with the other side.
I'm a former employee of an atomic energy company. I was forced to take a medical retirement.
I lost my mother to cancer at a very young age. You know, I can't prove that it's a result of this, but something in my heart tells me it is.
We had probably been drinking water at 20 parts per billion of uranium. They said don't drink it above 7 parts per billion because it damages your kidneys.
We met one lady through all of this who had 3 children. They couldn't diagnose her with anything. She'd lost all her teeth, all her hair. She had tumors all over her, but her blood didn't demonstrate that it was any kind of a cancer.
I'm standing there and all of a sudden this pipe came apart. I'm talking 50 to 100 gallons of pure Yellowcake. I was covered, I mean pure yellow, the color of a school bus. I started having problems with my hands and my feet. Burning, shooting pains that felt like they were in the bones.
The health department was supposed to protect us. EPA is supposed to protect us. And they didn't do it.
There needs to be more studies done. This is a Superfund site, and they have not done any kind of a formal study.
The only way that they study to see if anyone's been harmed is with cancer studies. What they don't do are epidemiological studies to see if there's a higher incidence of autoimmune diseases or kidney disease or things other than cancer.
The community is the one that suffers. The industry is careful to come in and to form things like limited liability companies, those that don't really have any assets.
Certainly there are companies that can fold their tents very quickly.
These foreign companies will come in, take our mineral wealth, leave the state with the cleanup costs.
The laws in this state are weighted toward those companies.
They get forgiven over and over again with no consequences.
The industry doesn't have to pay for its mess. The federal government pays for its mess.
The claims that nuclear power is going to be the godsend for the future of our energy that's just smoke and mirrors.
Really, I think, though, the biggest factor driving this, not just in the U.S. or at the state level, but at the international level, is the false belief that nuclear power is the answer to energy and climate change.
Though I have a lot of hopes for the future with our new president, I can tell that he needs this information too.
Is this really a road that we want to go down?